Alright people, this is the second time me recording this, which is very annoying. But YouTube videos coming back. Hopefully. Well, I'm sure they are coming back, right? You can see it's a new setup. I even got a fucking whiteboard for you motherfuckers. But I'm gonna talk about how to stay disciplined, right? So yeah, you might think, well, you're not gonna think, but I'm sure you've seen all these videos on how to stay disciplined, all that kind of shit, probably from bigger YouTubers than me. But anyway, first of all, I'm gonna talk about why, in the first place, why are you not disciplined, right? Now, for that, I'm gonna draw some nice diagrams so hopefully everything makes sense. But let's start, right? So, again, full disclaimer: I am not a medical professional. I do not possess a doctorate or nothing like that. That's your brain. And your brain is naturally attracted to pleasure. Pleasure. P-L. Attract. Now that's completely fine, don't get me wrong, right? That's completely fine. And it's natural, because it's naturally wired that way to be attracted to pleasure. But what the fucked up thing about it, especially today, is that it's attracted to the wrong type of pleasure. Now what I mean by this is drugs, alcohol, porn, gaming, social media. It's attracted to all those bad stuff, right? And that is why your lazy ass is undisciplined and lazy, alright? So that's all good, but you might be asking, what is it supposed to be attracted to? And before I get to that, do you know what's more fucked about this? That this, in today's society, is normal. This stuff is normal. It's unbelievable, isn't it? But what is it actually supposed to be attracted to? It's supposed to get its pleasure from good stuff. So eating clean, actual sex, training, and just productive things that benefit you. Alright, that's what it's supposed to get its pleasure from. Now let me explain it a bit more clearly. Now hopefully all of that makes sense, but what I wanted to talk about as well is actually the question you might be asking is, yes, so it's supposed to get pleasure from that, but why is it getting pleasure from this then, right? Well, let me tell you. The reason is because all this good stuff that, eating clean, training, all this stuff, this thing is hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to act on, right? So this is hard. And all this bad stuff that, in modern society is normal and your brain is attracted to is easy, right? So from here, it's kind of common sense that your brain will go for this, right? Because it's easy and it's pleasurable. So combine those two things, comfortable, pleasurable and easy. Oh my days, fuck me, that's fucking nightmare, right? First, before I talk about how to cut that out, let me talk to you through the process of you going through a bad habit, right? You acting on a bad habit, basically. So what happens is basically just living your normal life, and you get a craving or a thought or bad food. Let's stick with bad food for now. Get a thought, bad food, or I'm craving some chocolate. And what happens here is if your brain is weak as fuck and you submit to your thoughts and you're just a degenerate, right? What happens is is you just get your ass, go to the kitchen and have some chocolate. Right? It says you're inner beast, if you want to call it that. It says no. Chocolate is bad for me. No. But your bitch voice, your inner bitch, says yes. I want some chocolate. Let's have some chocolate. It's pleasurable. It's nice. It's easy. It's in the kitchen. It's a few steps away. Let's have some chocolate. Alright? That's your bitch voice. And, you know, as I mentioned, if you're weak and you submit, then listen to your bitch voice, boom, kitchen. But if you've been on self-improvement, this is what happens, and this is what I call a negotiation phase, or the battle. What happens here is obviously your beast, inner bitch, conflict, and most of the time, even if you've been on self-improvement, they fight, but the inner bitch wins, and you fold, basically. And again, going back to the bigger picture, the way to cut out the bad habits and the bad food, all that kind of stuff, is by cutting out the negotiation phase. That's simple, it's that simple. And I will show you, a few ways to do that. But that's pretty much about it, right? Negotiation phase, cut out, which means, right, you're not going to go to a kitchen, because if you're not thinking about it, then you're not doing it. It's just common sense, right? Let me talk to you about how to cut out the negotiation phase. So how to cut out the negotiation phase, right? So there's two ways of doing this. First one is prevention. It's basically for you to not even get to this point, right? So prevention is key. Let's say you're craving chocolate and you're at home, right? You go into a kitchen but you don't find chocolate because there's none, because you didn't buy chocolate, because you know that if you do buy chocolate, you're gonna fold and you're gonna go to the kitchen and you're gonna eat some chocolate. So when shopping for food or anything like that, don't even buy bad food or anything like that, right? Again, I might understand some of you are living with your parents, etc. Simple. Ask your mum or dad or whoever goes shopping to, even if they do buy shit food, junk food, then ask them to not tell you, and then also tell them to hide it, so when you go in the kitchen, you don't see it, you don't find it, right? Again, this is not just for bad food, it could be anything. It could be for drugs, alcohol, simple. Don't go to fucking pubs if you don't want to drink. Don't buy drugs if you don't want to do drugs, or don't hang around people. Your environment, prevention, environment, links, everything links. Don't hang around with people who do drugs and do alcohol, no? All that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, this could apply for everything. The second way is, once you got past the prevention, right, you kind of failed to do this step, then what you're gonna do is pretty simple. What you're gonna do is basically cut out the negotiation, and the way to do that is act. Now, what I mean by this is, a thought arises, I want to eat chocolate, blah blah blah. What you do is you cut it out instantly. Just bam, cut it out. Nope. And then what you can do is, as soon as the thought arises, you say out loud, no, and you go do push-ups, go for a walk, anything productive, get back to work, right? So what this is gonna do is, this is gonna cut out the negotiation phase, so you're not gonna think about anything, you're just gonna be acting. Once you do this a lot and you do it constantly, you're not even gonna have those thoughts, right? You're just gonna be focused, right? Grind is gonna be on, all that kind of stuff, right? So to recap, the acting is basically not thinking, right? You're just not thinking. So if a thought arises, let's play some Xbox, or let's eat some chocolate, or let's wank off now, just cut it out straight away, cut it out and go go do proactive, like straight away, right? Because then you're just acting and you're not thinking, and if you're not thinking, most of the time probably doing something productive, right? But acting is how you move forward in life, but that's a whole other topic. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and which I'm going to write on the board. The 5-second rule. I'm sure that most of you know what this is if you've been into self-improvement and all that kind of stuff. But I also feel like that people get this wrong, and let me tell you why. I feel like people get it wrong because they think it's a magical spell. They think it's a magical spell that if I say it or do it, then it's just gonna work. No. Alright, so for example, what I mean by that is when, let's say, I want to go do something very uncomfortable for me, let's say jumping off a cliff into water, don't worry. And it's very uncomfortable for me, but it would be a great experience. So, and you know, a day before that, I hear about the 5-second rule. So next day, I go to the edge of the cliff, and I'm like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I just back out. I do that constantly because I was like, oh, okay, you know, it didn't work. Let's try again. So you do that over and over and over again, and what you're building is you're just basically fucking your mind, right? What you're building is that when you get to 1, then you back out. And that's not what you want, is it? Right? So the way to do it is by starting small. You need to take small steps and build it up, reinforce the rule basically into your mind, and unfuck your mind, rewire your mind. When I say small things, this could be like picking up your phone, getting off the sofa, like literally small tasks or anything small that you do. So picking up. And another great example of, you know, these small stuff and how to reinforce it is if you go gym, what you're gonna do is before you start it, you're gonna be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you lift it. Right? Now after you've done that, right, you're gonna build it up. And what happens there is once you build it up, and I go to the cliff again. So let's say that was me, and that was John. So John did what I said at the beginning, and I did this, which is building it up. When we both go to the cliff, right, we stand on the cliff, and then we both go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I jump because my brain knows that when I get to 1, you do it. You jump, you get in the cold shower, anything like that, right? But John backs out because he didn't build it up. He didn't start small, and he just backs out because his flight or fight mode activates and all that kind of shit, right? And he just backs out. So that's why it's so important to start small and build it up, right? To reinforce the rule, and once you reinforce the rule, then it just becomes like an actual rule, and your brain is going to be wired to act once it gets to 1. So yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. It will help a lot with what I just said before, and it links nicely to it as well, right? So yeah, again, if you get any questions, DM me on IG, let me know, drop a comment, all that kind of stuff. I hope to help at least one of you. I do think this is like a really good video, but this might be just me, I don't know. But yeah, as always, in a bit.